Tamil Nadu's voter roll cleanup has collapsed into confusion. The Election Commission of India's SIR process, meant to be simple, is now a frantic rush that may leave lakhs of voters vulnerable ahead of next year's assembly election. How did the SIR go off track? What went wrong? Vanakkam. This is D. Suresh Kumar. Thank you for joining me in this episode of the Hindu Focus Tamil Nadu. Today, we are not doing a routine explainer. This one is different because as a national newspaper committed to public interest, we do not want a single voter in Tamil Nadu to lose their franchise just because the SIR process was unclear. We are going to break down what's going wrong in the electoral rolls special intensive revision exercise, that is the SIR. And at the end, my colleague Sai Charan and I will actually do a dummies walkthrough of the SIR form, step by step. First, the entire SIR exercise was packed into just 1 month, from November 4th to December 4th. There is just a little over a week to go, and this is not a small exercise. As per Tamil Nadu Chief Electoral Officer Archana Patnaik's statement on November 24th, 6.41 crore enumeration forms were to be distributed across Tamil Nadu. 96.22%, that is about 6.16 crore forms, have actually been distributed, but only about 50% of them have been filed and returned. The digitization of these forms are still on. That means of the state still has not submitted their forms with just few more days left. This alone shows how ambitious and unrealistic this compressed timeline is. When a massive exercise is squeezed into 30 days, it is the citizen who feels the heat. The Chief Electoral Officer's initial assurance was clear. If a house was locked, the booth level officers, that is the BLOs, would make 3 separate visits. But the ground truth is very different. Voters across districts report no door-to-door visits by the BLOs. BLOs sitting in one fixed spot, citizens being forced to go in search of their BLOs. But let's be fair, the BLOs are not to blame here. They are overburdened, understaffed, working with outdated devices and facing an enormous workload. They simply cannot cover every household thrice in a 1 month window and process lakhs of application forms simultaneously. When the system is overstretched, the pressure shifts directly to the citizen. Now for the biggest troublemaker, the enumeration form itself. It is only in Tamil, but even here, the language and structure are confusing. The worst part, section 2, which asks for your part number and serial number from the 2002 electoral roll if you live in a rural area, or the 2005 electoral roll if you live in an urban area like Chennai. Think about it. Who remembers their roll details from about 20 or 23 years ago? And then this part has a section called Uravinar, which is a Tamil term which means relative. But which relative's name needs to be filled? The form does not say that. On the ground, the BLOs clarify that it is the father's name, but that is not printed anywhere. Naturally, people either guess or leave it blank. So, lakhs of forms which have been submitted now have section 1 filled, section 2 and 3 completely empty. But the Chief Electoral Officer has insisted section 2 and 3 needs to be mandatorily filled. This is how accidental disenfranchisement begins silently through confusion. Here is the part almost no one has been told. If you don't have the 2002 or 2005 part and serial numbers, you are supposed to fill section 3 with your father's past voter details. But the form never explains this clearly. This missing instruction is likely to cause a mass confusion when the system checks your form. Now, after all this confusion, please remember this date, December 9. That is when the draft electoral roll will be published. That's exactly when lakhs of people may discover their names are missing, their forms rejected, or their entries are mismatched. The real panic may begin after December 9. So, there is actually a way to find your old part and serial numbers. You need to log in to the Tamil Nadu government's election.tn.gov.in and then click on the electoral roll search for 2002-2005. But even this tool, let me tell you, is not user friendly and scrolling through the details is not easy. Many voters don't know it exists and time is running out. So here is a checklist on what you must do. Before December 4th, please use the part and serial number search in the election.tn.gov.in website. If you cannot find all details, fill section 3. Take a photo of your entire form before submission. Don't wait for the BLO visits. Go to the booth if needed and get an acknowledgement for the submitted forms. And most importantly, on December 9, check the draft roll immediately. If something is wrong, file a claim or objection form without delay. Before we close, as promised, here is the crucial part. I reiterate, as a national newspaper, we at the Hindu believe no eligible voter should be removed from the rolls because of a confusing form. So right after this, my colleague and I will do a step-by-step dummies exercise. We will fill the SIR form live, show how to check part number and series online, demonstrate what to do if you don't have those details, explains what is section 3 and point out the common mistakes to avoid. If the system cannot simplify the process, we will step in and do it for the public. Your vote is your right and Tamil Nadu's voters should not lose it due to unclear instructions or an unrealistic deadline. Stay with us. The walkthrough begins now.